it's Rachel with Senza Tempo Cane Corso. I've got Preacher and Midnight with me today. We're doing some off-leash training with Midnight. I know I had some people that were asking me about this and wondering when I start my dogs on their off-leash training. And this is when, is basically as soon as they have their shots, I will start them on it. The reason for that is because puppies naturally don't want to stray too far from their parents or their owners or guardians whenever they are really young. They have a natural instinct to want to stay close. So you can take advantage of that whenever you start your training. And that's what I suggest. And what I do basically is, I'll have my other dog with me and kind of let them, explore and test some boundaries. And as soon as they start to go a little too far, I will try to, I'll bring them in. She's so funny. I love her to death. Preacher out there having fun. This is called Town Lake. It's in the middle of Austin. Not really a place you want to go swimming as a human, but not bad for dogs. And it's honestly not that dirty. It used to be a lot dirtier whenever I was younger, but you can actually see to the bottom here, which is pretty remarkable, actually. So, there she is. There, you a good girl. There, you a good girl. This also goes along with what I consider appropriate exercise for a puppy. A lot of people ask me with these large breed dogs like this, how often you should be exercising them. And the answer to that is let them exercise themselves at this age. So don't take them on really long hikes or really long walks through your neighborhood. Keep in mind that you are taller than them. So when you are walking, your normal walking pace is probably a jog or a trot for them. And you don't want to be trotting a puppy, especially a puppy as big as this. When with their joints not having closed and all that, it's just not ideal. You could really injure the dog. So this is what I do. I take them out to an area where they can roam and play, where it's, this is a very secluded area. This is kind of like a little island. I don't know if you can see, but over here, see there's more water over there. This is like a little peninsula, really. And so she's not going anywhere. She is the place to kind of run and romp and be a puppy in a safe place where, even though it's really hot, she can cool down and be, in the water. And so it's just, a really great kind of place to take your puppy. And anything kind of like this is what you're looking for. And especially with this kind of thing where it gets shallow and then progressively deeper, because that way your puppy can, get in the water and not overwhelm themselves. Oh my gosh, Preacher. Oh my God, he's bringing in an entire tree limb, looks like. Let's see what he's got here. Yeah, he's got an entire tree limb. He's so funny. I don't know if you guys saw, but in his off-leash video, he just always goes for the biggest sticks. They're not, in fact, at the rate that he gets them, they're not even sticks anymore. They're like branches and trees and stumps. He's so funny. You're a good boy, Preacher. You get it. You get that tree. You get that tree, Preacher. You teach it a lesson. You better get it. Look at him. He's so funny. He's bringing it up. Good boy, Preacher. Good boy. Good girl, Midnight. You helping him out? You're a good girl. You're a good girl. Let's see if she can get it. There she is. She got it. And I will tell you what, try not to rescue your puppy every time they're in a situation that seems, obviously use some common sense, right? But like, I have a video earlier of Midnight, and it looked like she was going to drown, right? And it looks can be deceiving. What you saw was her bouncing off of the bottom of the water, trying to walk on her back feet, which is something a lot of big dogs will do. They learn they can use their back feet and they kind of walk across. So when they get to spots where it's too deep for them to do that, they'll oftentimes do that. They'll bob, just like what Preacher will do that as well. And Midnight did it in this video I've got. And anyway, and she was able to come up out of it just fine. And as you saw right here, when she dropped in the water and she was trying to get up, she was struggling for a second, but I let her do it. And while it may seem scary, and you definitely, you know, I was ready to jump in there at the second that I needed to get her out in the other video. That's not a problem. But give them the opportunity to get themselves out of stuff, okay? You want to teach them to be independent and to not give up, right? If you save them every time, then when they're in a situation when it really matters, they're going to look to you and say, hey, get me out of this. And maybe you're not going to be able to. So it's important to teach them to be self-sufficient and to be confident in their ability, much like how Preacher has. He does not care how big this little branch is right here. He does not care. This might as well be as small as a normal stick to him, because his ego tells him that he can bring this thing up and he can take it out and he can chew it up, and he doesn't care. And that's from confidence. So you want to teach confidence, and it's in these moments with your puppy out here in nature that you get to instill a lot of the early confidence stuff. And if you watch in that other video, as you see, she panicked. She got out of the water. I gave her some petting and some love after she got out. And here she is getting in the water again. She's not terrified of the water. She's not scared. She's not traumatized. And that's because I didn't rush in to save her. I didn't make a big deal about it. You know, I didn't do anything to instill that fear of the water that may have happened, probably would have happened, had I went over there and rushed to her aid and provided her an excuse to think it is dangerous, right? So those are things to think about. And as you can see, she's no worse for wear. Let's see if we can do some walking. Come on. Let's see if she'll come. There she is. Good girl. Was a good girl. And so what I do whenever they listen really well like that is I just praise them. Good girl. Yes, a good girl. She's so excited. What a good girl. Yes, you are. All right, come on. Let's go back down. And so, good boy, Preacher. You ready? Come on down. Good girl. Good girl. Good girl. Oh. Good girl. She wants to play now. Good girl. She's so excited. She's never had so much fun in her life. She is so excited. This is like Preacher's. It's just his life. He's like a water dog, you know. He just loves to be half submerged, chewing on things like a hippopotamus or something. And you wouldn't believe it, when we first got him, he hated water. He would just sit there and shake. He did not want to get in, and now you can't keep him out. Midnight fell in the water. Got herself back out. Good girl. What a good girl. What's a good girl? What's a good girl? What's a good girl? What's a good girl? And if you're wondering why we don't have Blondie, it's because my daughter is at a birthday party and for her niece. And yeah, sure, go ahead. Yeah, there goes Preacher. Yeah, that's her daddy. Anyway, so we didn't bring Blondie because she got her first shot today, whereas Midnight got hers on Friday, so I felt like I could let her out. So, but anyway, there's a lot more people, so I'm gonna let y'all go. Bye.